The real issue, of course, is why aren't Africans using their own resources to do?
If you wanted to stop Africa from becoming a superpower, you wouldn't have to invent a new strategy.
Most of these resources are still in Africa, and they're not being stolen by Europeans. They're actually being sold to Europeans by the African state leadership.
I saw this conversation that is ongoing, that the easiest way to disrupt Africa and keep us, minute and small the way we've been all this while is just to do these things that we are going to be listening to in a bit. And the truth is, I think about it a lot of the time. I'm one of those Africans who have not left Nigeria. And obviously it's not because I believe so much in this country, which in my growing up days as a young girl, I was one of those people who believes that I will make it in my country, I will thrive, I will not need to travel. But this country, I'm talking about Nigeria right now. I'm not talking about the continent at large because I am a Nigerian, I'm in Nigeria. I'm sure other people from Kenya, Uganda, Ghana, whatever country they are in Africa can sort of relate to it. When things are not going the way you are, it just makes you start thinking like, oh, is it about time I just plan and leave? And just get out and just, better myself. Maybe when I go to this country, things are going to get better, which it does happen for a lot of people. For some people, well, it's not as it seems as a reason. But really, when you think about it, Africa as a continent is blessed, okay? We are so blessed, like we have mineral resources, beautiful things that could, gold and whatever that could turn our lives around, literally. But people in power, they keep selling these things to the colonizers, yes, that came and colonized us, and they will sell these things to them. And when they even sell it, the one that they're supposed to use to better the continent, the countries that they are heading, the leaders will not do it. Take Ibrahim Traore for instance, who is in charge of Burkina Faso right now. And we can actually see the wonders that this man is doing in Burkina Faso. We can see how he's constructing road, things that the presidents of the years past were not doing. I mean, I was not someone who truly believed in, what do they call it, military regime. I was always afraid of the violence that could come with it. But what Ibrahim is doing in Burkina Faso, I mean, we can all see it, free L to this, free L. Not like in my country where a certain governor at one point said it was going to give 500 naira to any woman who gives birth. Like, bro, let's not even get into that right now. Anyway, you guys, let's go listen to what was said and how Africa is going to keep remaining the way it is, and how they are confining us and restricting us, and how we are also by our own hands restricting ourselves. You guys, let's go listen, and I'll be back.
If you wanted to stop Africa from becoming a superpower, you wouldn't have to invent a new strategy. The blueprint has already been written, tested, and perfected over centuries. You'd start by making sure Africa never unites. The easiest way to do that is by keeping people divided along ethnic, tribal, and religious lines. If they ever start working together, remind them of past grievances. Stoke old wounds. Fund separatist movements. Keep border disputes unresolved. Make sure every time they take one step forward, they take 2 steps back because they're too busy fighting each other. You'd install leaders who serve foreign interests, not their people. Find the most corrupt, the most easily manipulated, the ones who crave wealth and status more than progress. Offer them power in exchange for loyalty. If a leader rises who actually cares about Africa, get rid of them. Assassinate them if necessary. But if that's too messy, just destabilize their government and back a coup. If they talk about nationalizing resources, make an example out of them. If they try to unite Africa, take them out before the idea spreads. You'd keep Africa economically weak by making sure it never industrializes. Let them export raw materials, but never process them themselves. Control the mines, the oil fields, the rare earth minerals. Keep them selling cheap and buying expensive. If a country tries to break free and build its own industries, sabotage it. Place sanctions, destabilize its currency, fund local opposition, crash its economy. If that doesn't work, orchestrate a civil war. People can't build when they're too busy trying to survive. You'd make sure their education system produces workers, not innovators. Teach them history that glorifies their oppressors. Make them think their cultures are primitive. Their ancestors were savages Their future depends on foreign approval. Train them to memorize, not to think critically. Keep their best and brightest looking overseas for opportunities. Make them dream of escaping Africa rather than fixing it. Offer scholarships that take their top minds to the West and never encourage them to return. Let the continent keep training doctors and engineers only for them to go enrich other nations. You'd control their narratives. Own their media. Control their stories. Dictate their image to the world. Make them believe they are corrupt, hopeless, eternally in crisis. Flood their screens with poverty porn and war zones. Show them charity ads that make them believe they are helpless without foreign aid. Downplay their successes. Twist their victories into isolated incidents. If an African country develops a groundbreaking innovation, credit a foreign investor. If an African leader implements a successful policy, frame it as an anomaly rather than proof of competence. You'd make sure they remain dependent. Drown them in debt. Offer loans with impossible conditions. Force them to privatize everything so foreign corporations own their water, their electricity, their land. When they struggle, give them just enough aid to keep them alive, but never enough to make them self-sufficient. Use charities to create a culture of reliance rather than resilience. Make them think foreign intervention is necessary, that they can't solve their own problems, that they always need help from the outside. You'd suppress their military strength. Keep their armies weak, their defense industries non-existent. Sell them weapons to fight each other, but never let them develop high-tech military technology. If a country tries to build a strong defense system, accuse them of being a threat to stability. Make sure they always need foreign peacekeepers, foreign military bases, foreign advisors controlling their security. Keep them vulnerable to invasion, coups, and foreign interference. The formula is simple. Divide, corrupt, exploit, miseducate, control. Keep them fighting each other. Keep them looking outside for solutions. Keep them poor, dependent, insecure. Make sure every attempt to break free is met with resistance so strong that the next generation thinks twice before trying again. This isn't a theory. It's history. The real question isn't how to stop Africa from becoming a superpower. It's how Africa can break the cycle despite every effort to keep it down.
If you've been on TikTok for a while, you must have heard about a ton of Africans telling you that Europeans stole Africa's resources. Now, there's a lot to say about that. First and foremost, most of these resources are still in Africa, and they're not being stolen by Europeans. They're actually being sold to Europeans by the African state leadership. Your own elites are robbing you. It's not us doing it. Not anymore. The real issue, of course, is why aren't Africans using their own resources to do things? Why does Mr. Beast have to go to Kenya to build water wells? Why didn't the Kenyan government do it themselves? I suppose the Kenyan government could have done it themselves. They just chose not to do it. Nigeria is now a country of almost 220 million people, the largest country in Africa. But they only produce about 10% of the electricity that a small country like Hungary. Hungary only has 10 million people, but they produce 10 times as much electricity as Nigeria does. I mean, I know you want to have your Wakanda, right? But do you expect white people to give it to you? No, you're supposed to build it yourself. Having said all this, it is of course obvious that we Europeans in the North need to prepare for a possible, potential African rise in terms of technology and therefore also in terms of military capacity. And that means we in Europe need to already start looking ahead and thinking ahead about how we are going to win the war against Africa, because there will be a future war between Europe and Africa.
And some of you will tell me that what we are saying on this app is not going anywhere. You can see that they are hearing everything we are saying. Everything the youths are saying, we are hearing. If I show you the kind of DMs that I have, the kind of things people send in my DM, you'll be shocked that I'm still on this app talking. Let me tell you, my brothers and sisters, our leaders are the ones killing us. You have heard from him. He said, our resources are being sold to the West by our African leaders, which is true. The West is not entirely gone. The West are the ones manipulating our leaders because they are still here. Some of our leaders are like puppets, controlled by the West. Someone like Gaddafi They saw the kind of development he was doing to his people, and they manipulated his people against him. If you see any African leader that the West doesn't like, that the West is kicking against, know that that African leader is doing something good in the life of his people. Look at the young man in Guinea. How many coups have been plotted against him since he overthrew the president? He has chased France out of his country. Now, people are even mobilizing against him, including the Nigeria's president. So guys, let me tell you all, African youths, this is the time. This is the only tool we have to stop this. This is the time for us to let them know that we know what they are up to. These our leaders are up to. For how long are we continue to fold? We are going to continue to fold our arms and watch our brothers drown in the Mediterranean Sea in search of greener pastures with our colonizers. For how long are we going to watch our sisters being brutalized in Saudi Arabia by the people they are working with them as mates? For how long are our graduates in Africa going to continue sleeping under the bridges with certificates in their hands with no jobs? For how long are the African youths ready to die because they don't have good healthcare system? African youths, you might have 100 followers, you might have 200. Speak life into this nation. It's time for you to stand up. We cannot continue to suffer like this. We deserve better. Our motherland has blessed us. Our nation has blessed us with everything. Without Africa, the West is nothing. Everything about the West comes from Africa. They cannot even talk about history. They cannot even talk about their own history without mentioning Africa. It's impossible. So guys, this is the time. I won't overemphasize. I won't over-labor this point, but this is the time. I will continue talking. For those of you who always come for me and say, oh, leave our president. I will not leave any president. If you are doing anyhow or you collect anyhow, if you lie, you come to my DM or you send your people to my DM to threaten me. That is the least they can do. They will not shut this mouth up. The hunger for change in Africa is in me and you cannot even kill it. If you are an African youth and you are not tired of this suffering, then something is wrong with you. Something is really wrong with you. Listen to how this man is saying it. Was it difficult for the Kenyan government to provide its people with borehole waters? Why does it have to be Mr. Beast coming all the way to come and do it? Is it difficult for the Kenyan government to do it? No. But why do they choose to treat their own people like this? I'm sorry that Kenya collected a stray bullet here. Even Nigeria is used as an example. Nigeria cannot boast of electricity. A giant of Africa cannot boast of electricity. The person that did us this in Africa needs to pay so that we should be free. I've said my own. If you like, you sit quiet.
Listening to that, the way I was nodding to it and like, yeah, it's true. I mean, let's leave the little bands where, there's drama between Ghana and Nigeria, South Africa and Nigeria and what's not, those little bands. Let's leave it and focus on the big picture, which is why is our continent the way it is. And if you listen to those things that were listed in that audio, you will agree with me that truthfully, most of these things are in play. We don't agree. We don't like each other. We believe that when we go to the overseas is when we will thrive and our lives will better. Because why? Those people are better their country. And the truth is, so many of us want Africa, want Nigeria, South Africa to be better than the way it is. Kenya, Uganda, Zimbabwe and the likes. We want it to be better. But the kind of leaders that we have, who are selfish, who just want to pocket stuff for themselves and for their immediate family, they go ahead. There are deals and, they just keep milking and pocketing for themselves. And the continent keeps remaining the way it is. The countries are going through stagnation and not developing. And it's like, oh, well, let me travel out there. I'm a medical doctor. I'm a nurse. Let me travel out there and see if life is going to be better for me in the next 10, 15, 20 years. And then you travel and it's actually getting better. Would you want to come back? Because they're like, oh, you go to the colonizers' country and, they make it feel like, oh, you shouldn't come back. But it's the truth. It's the truth because even the average citizen, your effort is not being seen. For one, in Nigeria, you save a person's life, you take the person to the hospital, they are arresting you, or you take them to you invite the police that something happened, an emergency, they are involving you in it. So if you see somebody going through that kind of thing tomorrow, would you want to get involved in it? Obviously not, because you don't want to get arrested. So there's like I said in that audio, like we are believed, we made believed to cram, but not think critically. We need to start thinking critically to see how our continent can actually get better. And it begins with you and me, actually. Even if it's going to take a long time before our leaders are going to do the right thing, but it begins with you and me. Anyway, you guys, enough being said, what are your thoughts concerning all of this? Please feel free to share your thoughts in the comment section, and I'll see you guys in my next video.